So we're going to use a schematic to debug a vintage pinball machine. This one's 1964, Bally Sky Divers, and the fault that it has is this. Two score reels are not stopping during the startup sequence, and this just shows you so that's the one stop, but 10 and 100 just keep going. Looking at the part of the schematic, which I've redrawn, that's significant. In rung 1, if the 1-point unit shows a 0 and the 10 and the 100 and the score motor, which is active at steps 1 to 5 of the cycle for some reason, and the reset trip has never fired, never been energized, then the reset trip will become active. Now the key here is that these have to be at 0 all at the same time. So rung 2, which is the rungs which are incrementing the startup, the unit step-up solenoids. This score motor 1AA is sending pulses, sends 5 pulses, then a gap, and then another 5 and a gap, and that should be enough to set the score reel to 0. But it keeps going until these do go to 0. So the reset trip is going to be inactive if it's never been activated in 1, and the score reel 1 point is not at 0 here. So the score reel increments until the score reel 1 does show a 0 by energizing this step-up solenoid. So the fault is the 2 score reels are not stopping, actually 10 and 100. They increment continuously. And looking at this, the only way this can happen is if the 10 and 100 score reel 0 switches in rung 1 may be closing at 0 but never at the same time, because they're not, well, you saw in the video they were sort of different numbers and they click round, one goes 0 but the other isn't, and then later the other one becomes 0 but the first one has moved on. So the reset trip is never energized, never active, and never opens up on these 3 rungs here, which would stop the step-up solenoids. So the problem has to be the 10 and 100 score reel switches on rungs 3 and 4, these two, and they must be never opening, because if they did open, the step-up solenoids would stop. And that actually was the fault. The switches weren't right, but looking at it, you have to say, are these say the 100 reel unit 0, this one, if that didn't exist, or it never that one never opened, would it still stop at 0 because of the reset trip? So this switch is independent of this one, even though they're on the same score reel, 2 different switches. So I ran a little test and shorted out the 100 point unit 0, and to see if all the score reels will stop at 0. Oh, I've given the answer where the result is true. Did. Interesting. So that fault can only be caused by another two switches being incorrectly adjusted. Just shows you that these score reel switches do need a careful look at, perhaps if there's any sort of problem, because they do cause interesting side effects. And in the next video I'll go into another one. Okay, that's enough for today. Bye now.